One of the things that we love at Gratitude Network is the uniqueness of the social entrepreneurs from around the world that we've worked with over the years. In this episode of Journey of Gratitude, you'll have a chance to meet Christine O'Connell, who's the executive director of Riley's Way, based in New York City. Christine has a very unusual background, and she brings this background to bear on the incredible work that she's doing with children here in the New York City area.
I'm Christine O'Connell. I am the executive director of Riley's Way Foundation, and I was a Gratitude Network Fellow in 2022-2023. I grew up on Long Island in a little tiny suburban town called Hauppauge, right in the middle, and I always cared about being outside. I didn't grow up in the best of households, and so I learned early on what it was like not to have a voice. And so that was one of the things as I got older in my high school years, I learned to develop my voice, to advocate for myself, to advocate for my sisters, and then starting to advocate for the environment around me and seeing things that weren't going great. And I kind of made it my purpose and my mission to uplift those voices and help uplift those voices and advocate for those voices. So I went to Cornell in the 90s, and I was a natural resources major. So when I graduated, I decided to not go into a typical science field. I decided to go into community environmental organizing because I thought, well, this is how I'm going to make more of a difference. After this experience working in environmental organizing, I went to New York City to work in community organizing for City Parks Foundation and the Parks Department. And the idea was back then to get more money around parks and open spaces in New York City and to get 1% of the city budget. And so my job was to help organize, again, communities, sports organizations, schools, educational facilities, to get them to say, hey, we want more money coming into our parks and open spaces because this is really important. And that was an incredible campaign to work on for years, and building coalitions in New York City around people who really cared about this. So Riley's Way, we are empowering the next generation of kind leaders, and we do that through programming and funding, but most of all community, and bringing young change makers together to build a community and make this world a better, kinder place. Riley's Way was founded in 2014 by Ian and Mackenzie Sandler after their late daughter, Riley Hannah Sandler, who unexpectedly passed away in her first year of sleepaway camp when she was 9 years old. And they wanted to do something about keeping her spirit alive and who she was, not something about what happened to her. So when I came on to Riley's Way in 2019, I was the first executive director to come on to lead the organization. And they had been around for a few years trying to figure out what they wanted to do and where they could make the biggest impact. So that was when they decided to focus on high school students, to really see that they're at a stage where support matters, where investment matters, and it can stay with. So our main flagship program is the Call for Kindness, and that is a year-long fellowship program for young change makers around the country in high school or college, where they either come up with a new idea to make their communities a better, kinder place, or they want to build on an existing idea. And they come to us, we give them up to $5,000 in funding to build on that idea throughout the year, and then provide them the coaching, the one-on-one mentorship, the skill building and different leadership skills, like how do you network, how do you build community, but most of all, the community of other young people to help them along the way. Leadership is broken. Leadership is broken not only in this country, but around the world, and the way we view leadership as this top-down model. And we want to change that because young people don't want traditional leadership models. They want to build community. They want to lead with courage and empathy and compassion, and they want workplaces that support that. Not necessarily statistics, but I can tell you every young person I meet, they have this. And that's one of the reasons why at Riley's Way we started to focus on high schoolers and college students, because what we found is they already lead that way. They have the values of kindness and empathy and community within them, and somehow they're lost along the way. So Riley's Way has directly worked with probably about 4,500 young people around the country. and invested over $5 million in programming and leadership development. That in and of itself has had a ripple effect in the hundreds of thousands around the world. It's really interesting because we're starting to see, our first students that went through these programs in high schools graduate from college and go into their first jobs. And the ripple effect has been incredible. We invest in one person, and then that invests in one project, and that changes a community, that changes and impacts tens of thousands of people, and it just keeps going. I was a Gratitude Network Fellow in 2022, 2023. And when I started as a first-time executive in 2019, a first-time mom, had to work through COVID and really rethink the organization and the way things were changing and how we had to adapt. It was amazing getting that experience as a Gratitude Network Fellow. It came at the perfect time for me to help me take a step back and really focus on our growth and myself, my growth as a leader. My coach was Cornelia Flannery, who was incredible. I didn't realize how much she had helped me and how much I needed that. I needed someone to make me stop each week and think, okay, well, how do I be strategic for the next week? How do I not get lost in the crisis of the moment or the thing that needs to be done? And she really helped me plan and think about time management and plan backwards. After going through Gratitude Network, we've grown our team even more and brought on 4 or 5 new people and built our programs even more and grew our Call for Kindness probably from around 20 at the time to over 51 projects now and 25 senior fellows projects. So it's just been an incredible time of growth for Riley's Way. And right now we are at a space where we're really looking at what our next stage looks like. We actually just started working on our next strategic plan because our last 5-year strategic plan, which we started in 2022, is 2027 is next year. This next stage of growth for us is about offering more of what we do to more young people because we've proven that our programs work and there's a desire for our programs. Like I said, we're saying no to 9 out of every 10 applicants. So we want to figure out a way to scale while keeping the quality and while keeping the community of our programs. I'm on a journey to change the face of leadership in this world and make sure that there are kind leaders in positions in every industry leading with the values of empathy and compassion and community in all that they do.